welcome to Slamcast number 95?
96, I think.
96?
It's the beginning of October. So
it's the beginning of October. We're 4 weeks out from our 100th episode. Welcome to this fun show that never ends. This is the Slamcast live. We're not live anymore. I always say that sometimes. We're on Retro Unlim Network. We're on iTunes. Remember where you think you are listening to us. We thank you. I am your host, Brendan Liggan, joined, as always, by my co-host, my number two, Nick Horaceck.
Yep.
Nick, how are you? We have two very special guests because we too have two very special news stories to talk about, including just recently hot breaking news in the form of Impact Wrestling, TNA, whatever you want to call it now. We are joined by Michael Burhan, broken Michael Burhan.
I'm already broken. I'm kind of
for the purposes of the gimmick, until I'm calling you broken Michael Burhan.
I would like to be called like Burhan Rhodes because I do one gig and then fuck off when the company gets sold.
Bingo.
Oh yes, and our returning champion 2 weeks in a row, Leslie Joy. This is where you say hello, Les.
I think she's intimidated by my manliness.
That's
something.
Hello.
There you go. All right. So with
Mike, sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Figure it out. Without any further ado, the news broke literally about a half hour or so before we went live or we started recording. It has official, the probably worst kept secret in professional wrestling right now, that the TNA Impact Library is now the property of one Vincent Kennedy McMahon. This is according to Justin LaBar, noted wrestling journalist, via his Twitter.
Semi-wrestling journalist.
Semi-noted.
He runs,
I mean,
he runs like a wrestling radio show somewhere on Trib Live, and then has like some shit with WrestleZone where he does a show that apparently is the most amazing wrestling content show ever. With a few,
well, I believe that like it's like in baseball. Like as long as you're at least right 30% of the time about
he's not
stuff,
he's not Meltzerific. Okay.
No, he's not Meltzer. He's not Uncle Davey. Uncle Dave is.
He doesn't have a power
reproach.
driver named after him. Yeah, you know.
He's like Dave Meltzer's like kid brother.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, he's like Dave Meltzer's retarded cousin.
No, kid brother, like
the guy with the funny hat, you know, who just sits there and like drools.
Guy who grew up with like he's a stan, like dear.
He has in crayons, wrestling journalist.
But it was widely speculated after they found some quote mysterious late minute funding,
so they can run Bound for Glory and
so they could hold the tapings. Or what I call enough runway to last the rest of 2016. This story comes out. I mean, it's fine. I guess this is it. Billy Corgan is finally going to take over the shattered husk of what this company used to be.
Rebranded too.
The thing is, right? Too. I'm glad Dixie Carter's fucking off because, as far as I'm concerned, Dixie she's like a wrestling like cock tease. You know, she'll come up to him like, "Do you want a piece of this company?" And then when people like
you want some of this announcement? You want an announcement? I'll give you an announcement. Watch next week when I make this announcement.
Yeah, she like literally just gives you blue balls every single time.
We re-signed Bram.
Because Bram puts butts in seats.
That's money in the bank, baby, Bram.
When he's not being accused of beating a woman. But anyway, the whole thing that I find with this whole situation is, I think it's a great idea. I think, LaBar is probably telling the truth here, that it's not fabrication, that Vince has bought the tape library. It makes sense because no matter if the WWE even paid like something like $10 million for that library, they know they'd probably get like 10 times the worth from it just from AJ Styles.
The DVD. AJ Styles DVD alone will gross them $10 million.
Yeah. It's basically, it gives them a backstory to all these guys that they have in their company now, like Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe,
complete Sting's career.
Even stuff
exactly.
like
the complete Sting anthology. There you go. That's $10 million right there.
He wasn't. He didn't go missing for like the past 5 years. He
wasn't in witness
somewhere.
protection.
He's in the WWE brand.
I would like Sting's TNA career to be accompanied by the Benny Hill music. And then ending with the Rob Van Dam
angled anthology as well. Believe it or not. Oh, the Rob Van Dam was like fun.
The Rob Van Dam Sting mask.
Yeah,
Sting taking off the Sting mask.
Win a title. Win a title, then don't defend it, and then get knocked out by Abyss. Just because.
Anyway, this decision, this purchase, if true, which we are fairly certain, puts the end a long, sad history of TNA's decline. A company that looked at one point in time so promising, like they could be a sustainable threat to WWE long term,
or at least another solid, viable option, for guys to go.
Yes.
And slowly it just fell off a cliff. I mean, you had the X Division. They were bringing in guys like Christian. They brought in Angle, to try and give it some credibility, some name value. And then it seemed like right before Hogan came in, just downhill.
I did it for the money, the Hulk Hogan story.
He took this, I mean, in promo terms, he took this company and he put it into a nosedive. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, he brought in Bubba the Love Sponge, and who ended up getting his ass kicked by Awesome Kong, which is hilarious. He brought in the.
I got my ass
Boys.
kicked by Awesome Kong, the Bubba the Love Sponge story.
Anyway,
brilliant.
He brought in the Nasty Boys 15 years past anyone giving a shit about the Nasty Boys.
I mean, this was just the end of a sad tale, and which itself, that in of itself, the fall of TNA Impact, $10 million in DVD sales right there. Like
the rise and fall of a shitty wrestling company that could.
I mean, because you can't give TNA the same anthology that they give. Like, you don't give TNA a 10-part documentary series narrated by Keith David. Like,
no,
have it narrated by Dixie Carter, who's talking shit. Be like, so I did this and I did that, and so what did you actually do? Stop people from buying it?
Yeah,
she was TNA commentary narrated by sock puppets voiced by us.
I would like to see Black Snow get a return. No, I mean it's.
Oh God!
This is the end. It will go down in history. We could make jokes about it now, but I think in 5 years we'll look back at TNA as a launching point for a lot of talent.
Yeah.
In the WWE now, if you look at all the people that came through that company that are succeeding in WWE now, case in point, Xavier Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mr. Apollo Creed.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody who came through that company, learned their craft, and then went on to go to the WWE. And then
he was so funny. He had that whole Apollo Creed thing going on, and he was just trying to play it. And I think his best thing in there was when he turned heel. But saying that, it would be good for an R-Truth DVD. A lot of his main event career came from TNA. That's one of the reasons why WWE hired him back. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd love to see some of his old Asylum footage. I just think they will probably need to edit out.
The R-Truth career anthology, $2.5 million. 2.5
yeah, I'm Black. The R-Truth story.
Yeah, and he did beat Ken Shamrock for the NWA title.
Totally not racist. Yeah, that's again Ken Shamrock. They can actually show some of what Ken Shamrock was doing.
We're not getting a Ken Shamrock DVD. I'm sorry. You Ken Shamrock, you are not getting a DVD. Oh,
Ken Shamrock, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
What were you gonna say, Liz?
Oh, is it my turn?
No, you said wanted to say something.
Yes, I think the other reason WWE wins besides the library is they prevented ROH from buying it.
Absolutely, that's absolutely what I was going to say, because ROH buying wrestling is a major threat to. And I shouldn't say a major threat, but it is a threat to their profit margin.
I don't think so. I think if they bought it, it means ROH would have a bigger spectrum of TV contracts, and I think Billy Corgan didn't want to give up those contracts. Hence the reason why they are.
With ROH's relationship with New Japan, a larger audience to that combined with Yeah, combined with whatever they could get from Impact Wrestling, whatever New Japan would be willing to loan them to come over to America to do for their shows, combined with the ROH roster already, that in of itself is recipe for competition. And I think
Absolutely.
as soon as interest of that started to broke, that's what kicked the acquisition into high gear for WWE. They're like, okay, we can't allow this other company to gain more ground on us. That could be competition. And I'm not saying that Ring of Honor would have been the thing that would have taken down the WWE elephant, but that would have been serious competition for a certain number of viewers, like the upper level of the age demographic in wrestling.
I don't think so, because I think with Ring of Honor they don't have the spectrum that WWE has. They're like, they're like the stand-up comedian that does bars and clubs. To the guys. I'm just
saying you wouldn't watch regular Ring of Honor tapings if they had regular appearances from New Japan and regular New Japan appearances from guys like they do now.
Well, that's the good thing, because they've partnered up with New Japan. They're on New Japan World now, as part of their pay-per-view deals and stuff. And it's a good idea because ROH has an extra kind of audience. They've allowed themselves to expose their talent to Japan, and it also gives talents better contracts, so that ROH and New Japan have a good fresh load of talent that WWE, if WWE tries to steal them over, they know that they can work less dates and get the same money that they would get under a WWE deal. Well, probably even more, actually, because if they go to NXT, they'll probably be lowballed. And I think the biggest thing, like the purchase of TNA probably wouldn't give, they'll probably give them like a 15% rise in terms of audience, but they wouldn't give them that much. I believe at the moment, to sustain a new wrestling company, it's going to take a lot of gumption, it's going to take a lot of commitment, and a lot of man hours and time. And I think the way that Ring of Honor and New Japan are doing it are the right way. And TNA was never going to be that company. They had a big investment. They pissed away a lot of money, man. They even pissed away more, probably in a sense, more than WCW had over its vast years.
I mean,
just because of that.
That's because WCW was literally paying Scott Hall and Kevin Nash every time they signed somebody new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they wanted, everybody that come in wanted that National Hall money, and then National Hall had favored nations, and they came on and they got paid more than that.
Yeah, well, they had something in their contract where if someone new came in and they got paid more...
That's what the favored nations is. That's what favored nations is.
Okay.
So Burhan mentioned it earlier, and now I want to go pivot to this. What do you think Billy Corgan's now in store for now that as he assumes the mantle of this professional wrestling entity formerly known as TNA? Because he will take over, I am assuming, the talent and...
If that money he makes off the WWE buying the TNA library does not cover all the debts and everything, then he's fucked.
Well, they could file for Chapter 7, which is bankruptcy protection, which allows them to actually continue so that they can actually sizably leverage off the debt to, their creditors. So they wouldn't be fucked, but they would be basically in for an ass fucking, as like the company would go, because they would be having so many people trying to get money from them.
Said that he really didn't have a prayer of taking on unless there was a way where they could get rid of the debt.
Yeah, but as I said, if you file for bankruptcy protection, they could basically leverage that debt. There's a way to kind of marginalize it or even clear it entirely. With the TNA name, I think the debt goes with the name itself. So if the WWE's buying that, they're probably buying the sizable amount of the debt, which Vince could probably piss away.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just buying the tape library.
Yeah,
and
they said the name
brand
as well. Yeah, the brand
and just
name.
the rights to the brand. I don't think he's like purchasing controlling interest of the company.
Nothing.
I think that's just they're selling off the library as their valuable asset to cover up their debts, and then Billy Corgan's going to come up with come up with all the operating costs post debt payment and in the new era of what his ever new company will be. I don't know what it will be. Well, speculation. I'm going to call it Mellon, Collie, and the Infinite Championship Wrestling.
I agree with
That's the episode title.
Or Rev Pro version 2.0.
Yeah, Rev Pro USA.
So was that Mellon, Collie, and the...
Mellon, Collie, and the Infinite Championship
Yes, that is.
Melloncoll, 2 words.
Well,
Mellon
we've
Collie,
got
like the dog.
we've got that then. So what do you think that they're just going to basically, they've sold off the tape library and the brand name in order to pay off that debt? Then he's starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
That means they're basically it would be cheaper just to basically start your own company up from the ground up.
Yeah, but he wants that one.
I think that's essentially what he's doing, but it would be easier for once the debt is paid off than trying to reacquire and renegotiate deals with all those talents. They already said, Cody Rhodes already said, and I feel really kind of, they did all this big press and hype hullabaloo for Cody Rhodes showing up, and then, sorry, Cody, we really can't work with you anymore. Sorry, we can't afford to pay you.
Yeah, same goes for Lashley. Lashley's gone as well.
Lashley's gone, yeah. Oh, no.
It makes sense, which almost makes sense why he dropped the title Eddie Edwards tapings.
I hated that, by the way, and I've said this because it had no build. He might as well have just dropped it to EC3. But this is the thing that I'm worried about. You've got all these talent contracts, and even though they may not be sizable contracts, they've got to find a way to pay these talents. People are going to want to pay on time. They don't want another Dixie Carter situation where there was always delays. I know he's got the TV deal still.
Now, what do you make of interest or rumor of interest from ESPN wanting to get into the wrestling game now again as content either for either their digital platform or, whatever
the thing is,
on what ESPN network?
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Go on, Leslie.
Oh, no, I said I did not see that.
There's been I forget where I've read it, but there's been rumblings that ESPN has been rumored to be interested because once they open the platform to WWE, they saw what wrestling eyeballs they could attract to their network, and it would only make sense from a network point of view that if once you have that audience put on something, it's not against ESPN's history to do it because ESPN was an early home of the AWA.
Oh no, ESPN has been losing money, so they needed to start expanding their market. They dipped their toe into wrestling, and obviously, I would think that's a true rumor that they're at least considering dipping in further.
Yeah, because then Disney's in the picture, basically.
Exactly. And Disney isn't happy with them losing money.
And then that is a competition to WWE. Not saying WWE will, lose out to Disney in the wrestling game, but, could you imagine Vince McMahon versus Disney? Oh, my God. I'm tingling. I'm
still waiting for that.
Remember what happened the first time Vince someone thought someone was coming for his company?
This is true. Maybe ESPN.
I took on one.
Billy Corgan's new company.
I doubt it. I think he's probably going to find some seed money from somewhere, but I don't think it's ESPN.
Peter Thiel. No, hey man, Hogan's got a bunch of money. If I'm the Hulkster, I'd be like, that's the only thing I know, brother, and might as well do.
He would never. Hogan doesn't invest money. He takes money. He's like a fucking sponge.
Did we lose Burhan?
No, he's still here.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we lost you after Hogan lost. So
yeah, no, I'm saying Hogan's the only guy that basically would take money. He would never invest money in anything, and apart from his own daughter.
I went to TNA for a paycheck, brother.
Yeah, that's literally what he said. He goes, and he didn't want to promote it because he didn't like saying TNA because everyone that asked him, does it stand for tits and ass? Which to me, it boggles the mind in terms of what TNA was capable of and what they actually did. As a company, they should have been printing money because of the DVD sales, the T-shirt sales. They had tons of brands. They had all these wrestlers out there that they could have used and expanded out there because the thing that always makes me laugh about 2016 in general being it's a very shitty year, but for wrestling it's been an amazing year because everyone's been able to actually promote something. Even House of Hardcore is turning a profit, and they've been doing digital platforms and all these other little mediums and stuff, and they could have had a way to deal with it, but for some reason it's like Dixie Carter was the most retarded business person in the wrestling industry. I don't get how the fuck she was losing money, how the company wasn't sustainable, how they kept getting so many creditors that they owed money to, including the Harris twins, for fuck's sake. It made no sense to me.
Nazi sympathizer, the Harris twins.
Yes.
It made no sense. It's like, how can you have lost so much money? And, even the dodgy dealings with fucking Vince Russo that led Spike TV to go, fuck you, you're done.
Yeah, and then, what was the email she accidentally sent to the heads of Destination America? Called them...
Let's put a bow. Let's put a bow on TNA. What do you think, 5 years from now, what do you think is the legacy of Impact Wrestling TNA?
WWE tape library. That's it.
A big platform for a lot of guys to get, more exposure on a national stage. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe's. Hell, I mean, they've even brought in New Japan talent here and there. I guess AJ Styles once had a match with Hiroshi Tanahashi. I don't even remember, but I have to go back and find that. But it was a platform for a lot of guys, and then, there were guys that left WWE. Someone like Kurt Angle goes in and then ends up having great matches with Styles. I keep going back to AJ Styles, but he was literally the face of that company.
It rejuvenated careers and it built up
it
new
fell
stars.
off the cliff, basically. They had something there. It could have been a major viable option, but piss poor management.
You want to say the final word on this?
Sure. I think it's going to be a lot of people remember people came through who came into WWE, so essentially the tape library, but it'll be remembered as Billy Corgan rising from the ashes in 5 years of his wrestling promotion. That's probably tied into ESPN.
I mean, I ultimately hope that Impact Wrestling will be remembered as a starting point for some of the great talent and the home of the gimmick that saved kayfabe, Broken Matt Hardy.
Broken Matt Hardy. Yes.
Congratulations to Broken Matt and Jeff, who won the TNA Tag Team titles at Impact's Bound for Glory.
Which had the power go out during this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't mean anything now because the company's no more, but...
Yeah, it's just...
Do you think they'll be getting new titles and stuff like that as well?
I have no idea. That's Billy Corgan's problem if Justin LaBar was true. But moving on...
Yep.
Slight burp. Oop, I didn't hit the mute button. My bad.
Yeah, I hit the dial on my volume control on my headset, so I know while I was talking. If you guys start talking, I didn't even realize that.
I know. I was doing the same thing the other day during my stream. I didn't realize I had the microphone muted. All right. In other news this week, Alberto Del Rio missed his first AAA appearance due to...
Apparently he was mugged.
Of all things, a stabbing. I didn't see the video or the pictures of the wound, but from what I was told by Leslie, it was pretty gruesome and not something I would want to see if I was eating, which I was doing at the time, and I really have no desire to see it afterwards.
Was Paige the one doing the stabbing?
I see. Look, from what everybody is telling me, that does not appear to be a domestic violence stabbing. That appears to be a good old-fashioned just Mexican stabbing.
Yeah, it is. Drake's Mexican. He was stabbed in the head.
Ow.
Yeah, one of them was in the head, and I forget where the other one was, his side or his arm.
Yeah, if that was a crime of passion or something like that, that would be in the heart or chest, or neck.
What do you think? It's too soon for me
head.
to actually say that he'd like to stab Paige a couple of times.
Crazy Burhan strikes again.
Hey, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah,
anyway.
And Brandon, all I need to know is where were you at the time of the stabbing? Because
I was have an alibi. Don't even try and say anything. I'm not going to Mexican jail for this, man. So speaking of law enforcement, we wish Alberto and Paige all the best in their recovery. I mean, I hope this doesn't keep him out. I mean, probably getting stabbed in the head will probably keep him out of action for a while.
Brandon, it's serious right now because she's got his tattoo on her body. I could see you going psycho.
Look, as long as they're both happy, I'm happy for their happiness. Yeah. In other stabbing news, and an update on a story we broke last week. Jamie Noble is recovering fine from his altercation that happened at his house. He gave a full detail of what happened on his social media, including offering a bounty for people that had information about his attackers, including a $200 reward for a name, and then further $500 if that name leads to any conviction. I'm going to pause because that is the most gangster thing a 5'8", 6 foot, or a 5'8", 160-pound man has ever done. I don't know how much Jamie Noble weighs.
It's
a 5'8", 200-pound man has ever done in his life.
Something like that.
Put bounties out on people. So
Yeah, don't fuck with Jamie Noble.
Do not fuck with Jamie Noble, exactly. He will come for your family. He will put the entire southern West Virginia out for you, bro. Like, oh my god. I feel... What'd you say?
I said people are on notice. Sorry, continue.
No, we're about to not call Sasha Banks the legit boss. We're going to have to call Jamie Noble the legit boss, because that is some legit boss shit to do to somebody.
Well, you know,
I want them dead. I want their families dead.
Do you think that Tommy Dreamer standing there going to "He's hardcore"?
No, I'd be like, I'm going to do my Jamie Noble. I want them dead. I want their families dead.
That sounds like your Jim Cornette. Just saying.
It's very similar. Very similar. Jim Cornette's a little higher. Jim Cornette's a little higher.
Just do me a favor.
I tell you, Jimmy, you gotta. I don't know, Burhan. Oh, it's way off. Anyway.
No, can you say in Jim Cornette's voice, "Fuck Jim Hurd" for me?
Fuck Jim Hurd, man. I'm serious. Just a fuck Jim Hurd. That guy doesn't know a goddamn thing about wrestling, man. I tell you what. There's my Jim. That's Jim Cornette.
Beautiful.
Man, I don't know what they're talking about. These guys, they don't know how to draw a dime. Anyway. So on to UFC 205, because UFC 205 is taking place this weekend in sunny Manchester, England. He said, ironically. Because it is not very sunny in Manchester. We're just going to talk about the big two fights on that. I have, in the interest of time, don't really want to feel like running down the whole card.
We already got a whole card we got to run down, so.
Yeah, we already have one card we got to run down, so sorry, UFC, you take a back seat this week. Gegard Mousasi takes on Vitor Belfort. This is in the heavyweight division, or is he moving down for this,
I
Nick?
think this is light heavy.
All right, so... yeah, Mousasi is a tough fighter, but I think just Vitor's been on this streak recently where he's been, winning more fights than he's been losing, apart from the title loss, obviously. But I think Belfort uses this to get back in that title picture at 205, and he knocks out Mousasi.
Middleweight.
Is that middleweight?
Yeah.
He's moving way down then. Oh, my.
Ooh, yeah, this is
So someone must have been cycling off something. So, yeah, I think, all right, so he's going to have middleweight then. So that's interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just mistaken.
That
All
was
right.
according to that was according to the official UFC site, so.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm just, it's not affecting how I'm doing it. I'm still going Belfort on this.
Yeah, I'm taking Vitor.
Yeah, I just he's on one of those streaks right now. Kind of like the guy who's facing in our main event, Dan Henderson, is on the rematch between Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping that took 6 years to happen?
It's been about 7 years.
Longer.
UFC 200
6 or 7 years?
Or 100 was 2009. It was July of 2009.
So you think that them just getting their money right?
I think, well, no. Dan Henderson went on this whole career odyssey since that fight, and he is a completely different fighter since then. I mean, he still has the same skill set. It's still the same Dan Henderson, but I think his physically been reconstructed, and this career rival that he's on, can say the same thing about Bisping too. Both of these guys too have, hit similar snags in their career and now are on, unprecedented highs. And it's only fitting that this fight is happening for the title in Manchester. It'd be hard for me to go against the Manchester boy Bisping, but I gotta say Hendo wins the belt. I think
this is Henderson's last fight too. I think he's retiring after this. I could be wrong, but
I think he has like one or two left. I think he says, but if he's retiring, for him to retire as champion would be very fitting way for him to end his career.
Yeah,
and especially against Bisping, who is one of his toughest opponents. You always got to go with knockout power, and Hendo has just devastating knockout power.
Yes.
So
I'm calling a repeat of UFC 100, and fucking Bisping is going to get knocked the fuck out. So yeah,
I think Bisping gets right back into the top picture. Bisping probably gets the title back, but Hendo's going to play spoiler in the northwest of England.
Yep.
So that's our UFC 205 picks. Now we can move on to No Mercy. Oh, 204. Yeah, sorry. I have UFC
205 is the New York card.
I know. I'm not going. I've officially given up the hope. Unless we want to start a Kickstarter to send Brandon to UFC 205 to pay for the $800 that it costs to get into the building.
Well, I'm saying, Brandon, you ain't gay, but $20 is $20.
Yeah. I mean, that would be. I would have to go from after this weekend of New York Comic Con and just suck all the dicks straight through between now and November 12th.
I think you could do it. I think
I could do it. Yes, I absolutely could do it. I have the dedication and gumption to do so. But
yes, and the teeth.
Well, that's not so much the teeth though. Like that's anyway. On to No Mercy.
Yeah, they would give you no mercy. Anyway,
you've derailed me. You've derailed me now.
I gave you such a burn.
Burhan derailment. On to No Mercy now. Taking place.
Burn unit.
Taking place where now? Where's No Mercy taking place?
Pull the card up. Crap, I saw my No Mercy one, or my UFC 204. SmackDown pay-per-view. No Mercy 2016. One of the wonderful names brought back. We've had Backlash. We've had No Mercy.
I'm very glad.
Sacramento,
the
California.
No Mercy name. Yes, I'm very glad the No Mercy name has made a return. Not so enthused, however, at the No Mercy advertisements that look like a perfume ad.
Yeah, I don't understand.
You did pop Zack Ryder on Instagram.
I did pop Zack Ryder on Instagram. Did like my comment, so.
Hey, that's a former United States and Intercontinental Champion for a cup of coffee.
Shout-outs to Long Island IC, man. Us NYC wrestling guys, we got to stick together,
So underrated, man. So underrated.
Anyway,
Yep.
Where do we do? Do we have a pre-show match?
It's
assuming Nikki Bella versus Carmella.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I will say this.
Is that really the pre-show match, or did I just guess that?
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't say there's a pre-show match on here, so probably some will get added last minute. I'm just gonna go from the bottom up here. Kurt Hawkins and To Be Determined.
You know what? I like Kurt Hawkins.
I do too, and I'm glad he's gotten this second chance at the WWE.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're bringing back that Chuck Norris thing.
Yeah, so I like to see Kurt Hawkins make it a win on on whoever he's facing. So moving right on.
All right, Nikki Bella and Carmella. What Ella's in this match?
Yes, in the Battle of Ellas. I want to believe Nikki Bella is just doing the rights for Carmella because she's the upcoming I said the D word again. Upcoming women's talent. But I want to also. I just kind of know that Nikki Bella needs a win to get her shine back. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki wins. LOL.
Yeah, Nikki wins. LOL.
By the way, why does she do that TKO like that? She basically that's another variation of the rack attack. She said she wants to help her neck. How is that helping her neck?
I have no idea,
I
but
think
I'm
because
sure.
it's not directly on her neck anymore.
There you go.
Yeah,
That
it's
could be.
more of just in how the RKO is more of just a flat back.
Yeah.
She's just got the head hook, so I think it's just because again it's more of a spin, boom, done. Yeah. So at least she's got a new finisher. She's not doing the rack attack anymore.
I bet Cena knows how to finish her.
Michael Burhan, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Burhan.
Thank you. I'm here with you.
Yeah. All right, Nick, what's next?
Randy Orton's Bray Wyatt.
I just thought this feud was over with.
Keep
going.
Too.
They did that whole thing where Orton was like in the he ended up in that whole Dungeon of Doom-esque video thing. I swear, all he had to do was wear red and yellow, say brother, and ask where he was. And
It's not hot.
And how Hulkamania has no power there. I looked at it and they tried to
not be easy. Sorry.
They tried to play it off.
You can't hear your voices here, man.
Yeah, they tried to play it off as super serious. I was dying. I was laughing my head off as they did those.
They don't
scenes.
cancel you, and they won't understand, man.
I'm here with the Yate.
Oh God.
The Yate is the new member of the Wyatt family, man. He hears you, Randy.
Oh man.
It's one of those things. You look at it and you think to yourself, okay, I see it. I see what they're doing. Bray needs
I'm still laughing at the Yeti as the one member of the Wyatt.
Having with like a goat mask and overalls.
No.
But literally come in and just hug Randy Orton.
God, let's hope the Wyatt family. Can we just hope the Wyatt family doesn't devolve into the Dungeon of Doom? That would just be the worst possible thing for Bray Wyatt's promising career.
See, you know what? I just realized.
Please, WWE creative.
When the Yeti and the Big Show, or AKA the Giant, were hugging Hogan, that was officially Hogan's first sex tape. Just saying. Anyway, I hope Bray Wyatt, AKA the Taskmaster, wins this. Because he needs a win. Because every time he cuts these awesome promos, and then it ends up with a situation of him losing, and then sitting there going, "I am a god." I'm like, fucking even God won a couple. Come on, dude. He got it wrong.
When he loses these matches, it person and more like WWE's random rambling homeless man.
Yeah,
but you must say, yeah.
The torn clothes, like looking like the resident meth addict that you on the street, talking about things that.
Maybe he's going to be the Miz's next stunt double.
No. That's far too talented. Far too talented for that.
I think the Miz should be his stunt double, Miz Wyatt. Think about it.
Oh, anyway. Yeah, I think he's going to win too. I think Bray's going to win this too, and here's what I think is going to happen. I think Luke Harper is very close to coming back. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Luke Harper in this match.
Yes.
On to the Miz. Now you're saying.
Yes. Speaking of the Miz, who brought back the Spirit Squad on SmackDown.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it looked... to me, I was like... I remember Ken Doane was sitting there going, I wanted to be taken seriously as a wrestler after he left the WWE, and talked about how the Kenny Dykstra character didn't work for him, and Mickey James and John Cena and shit. And then just watch him come back and do that Spirit Squad thing, it was like, yeah, you take yourself seriously. I can see why they did it.
I tried to take myself seriously, but this was the only thing not over. I'm back to doing this now.
Yeah. And it pretty much the whole package that the WWE 24-esque, they brought up the fact that it was Kerwin White's caddy.
Yeah.
No, they went in pretty good on
if it's not White, it's not right. Okay, that should be. They should have Kerwin White be like the vice presidential candidate for Donald Trump.
What were you going to say, Liz?
I thought the deal was great. The success of a failure.
Yeah, that was it was very good. It was very art house inspired. But this match is title versus career, and I do think the rumors that we heard a couple months ago of Dolph Ziggler wanting to take some time off away from wrestling to pursue other interests has a little weight to it, and
he's doing good in the political scene right now, isn't he? He's like doing like political conferences and stuff like that. So I could see it.
He's been expanding his brand outside of WWE, so I could see if he wants to take a 6 to 10 month hiatus, or like just be back by SummerSlam or be back by Royal Rumble, WrestleMania to get that WrestleMania paycheck, or if he wants to even take the full year off and come back stronger. I could see that happening. I think The Miz wins this one. Dolph Ziggler.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'm going to go with Dolph just because I'm going to be a dick. And secondly, I've got a fun feeling that The Miz dropping the IC title is going to lead to something else.
Like The Miz feuding with AJ Styles?
No, like The Miz being fired by Daniel Bryan.
And then going to Raw.
Yes.
And then
No. I've got a funny feeling that he's going to end up. They're going to have that done, and then The Miz kind of like jumping in as like I wouldn't say a pseudo free agent in a way, like causing havoc and stuff. I've got a funny feeling that there's going to be this whole authority heel thing going on, like Bryan versus Miz. That could lead into maybe Bryan having one more match, or lead into The Miz having a situation where he causes enough of a ruckus that, again, as you said, he becomes a main eventer and solidifies himself in that position, whether by turning AJ face or having someone like Ambrose, for instance, win the title and having The Miz beat him for it. I've got a funny feeling that's where you're going, because he's got a lot of heat right now. He's a guy that's
totally not where it's going.
Well, in terms of being a main event player, he's got a lot of heat, and he's a guy that could probably carry SmackDown as their main heel alongside someone like AJ. So I could see them doing something with it, because why do the whole Miz versus Bryan feud to begin with if they're not going to do something with it? I think SmackDown Live is that kind of brand that will just throw something in there and then just leave it. That's just me, though.
Cool. So, yeah, 2 for Miz, 2 for...
Yeah, I'm saying Miz. It seems like they...
3. Oh, Burhan's the only one going out on that limb. Good for Burhan.
I'm going out.
Because it seems like the way the story's being set up, it's like the perfect, Ziggler gets the big win and he dethrones Miz, yada, yada, yada. But I could see him throwing that little swerve in there that, oh, wait a minute, Ziggler loses and he has to retire. And then it's going to be just that much more heat on the Miz that he retired Dolph Ziggler, who is just beloved by the fans. So
yeah, he's less beloved than he was at times. He was beloved. Now he's just kind of well admired by the fans. What's next on the card, Nicholas?
Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Usos.
He got kids to feed, baby. Heath Slater wins them tag titles. I don't have much more to say about the fuck boys anymore.
Yeah, I'm picking Slater and Rhino.
I'm saying though, the Usos, just because I've got a funny feeling they're going to transition to a feud with the Usos versus American Alpha. I think Rhino ends up hitting his partner and they have like a Rhino-Slater feud going on, maybe trying to elevate Slater as a singles guy. Who knows?
I mean, I can see the end result being...
You know what, Burhan? I'm changing my vote. You just convinced me. That sounds like a fucking brilliant idea.
Yeah, because he's over right now and he doesn't need the tag titles. It's like the team of him and Rhino. Rhino's not going to be there he's a part-time in all consideration. I think a nice little feud with Slater and Rhino, having like that whole betrayed friendship sort of shit, and then hit Slater into the kind of the mid-card, and even, eventually he may even win the like IC title. So I'd say go for Slater. He's got a lot of good heat on him at the moment. And I think SmackDown Live has nurtured him really well. So, there's not much else he can do. And got 2 credible tag teams right now, with the Usos being the main heel tag team and American Alpha being the main face. So,
right. I mean, I could see, the feud just for the Usos going into the feud with American Alpha, and then
I have a modified version of that.
I think Slater and Rhino are going to win it.
I think Slater and Rhino will win it one more time before they go into the Usos giving it to Uso so that they can give it to American Alpha.
Right.
But Heath Slater's still really popular, so I'd see him doing it, like, giving him a few
Give
more.
him a little bit more time with the belts.
Yeah.
A little bit more. Not too much
Right.
more, just a little bit more.
But yeah, probably like the pay-per-view after this one.
Maybe. All right. Or maybe even a SmackDown after this, because we've seen
Right.
plenty of titles change. We saw this Monday in the main event, too, on Raw, by the way.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the women's title match next. Sasha Banks and Charlotte main evented a 3-hour Raw.
I like that.
2016, motherfuckers.
I did. By the way, I did tell you guys that was going to eventually happen. So this dude.
Yep.
You were right. You were right. You called it.
Thank you. Now, who's your daddy?
I will say this now. Charlotte may go down in history as the greatest women's wrestler of all time. How about that? Hot take. Hot take city, bitch. Hot take city, bitch.
Hey, I like a job, Lise. I'm just saying.
Women's SmackDown women's title match, Nick?
Yes. Yeah. Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss.
Becky.
Yeah, I mean, I love Alexa Bliss, but she's just being fed to the Becky Lynch machine right now.
Yeah, I think Alexa's going to have a good showing, and I think it's their way of trying to see how she works in the women's main event.
Alexa Bliss reminds me a lot like Michelle McCool.
Yeah.
On the mic.
I will say she is damn sexier than Michelle McCool, though.
Well, that's you will get no complaints with me in that regard. But I believe that.
Damn you, Buddy Murphy.
Son of a bitch. Both of them. Anyway. I think there's a lot that reminds me of she needs to find her Layla. That's what she needs to find. And I thought Carmella could be that for her, like a Mean Girls kind of thing. Just rehash it. It's simple. There's only so many things you could do in this business. Just do it. Just do it. Put them together. I think you could find gold there with her as the leader of like a bad girls stable.
Yes.
So
definitely.
But that's for the future reference. Becky wins this match though.
Yep.
Yes.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What's next?
AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose versus John Cena.
Main event of the evening. John Cena does not win, LOL. I think, much like there is, some validity to the rumor that Dolph Ziggler is taking some time off after this pay-per-view, I think there is some truth to the rumor that came out a couple weeks ago that Ambrose and Cena are due for some time off. Cena, I think, has another filming commitment, and Ambrose just, I think, needs time off.
He's just never taken time off.
Yeah, he's been pretty much going hard.
Yeah.
Ever since he got into the company, so a little vacation would be probably good for his body, considering the amount of wear and tear he puts on himself in the ring. Because I'm sure they probably have some things planned for Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in. Are we all in with that? Anybody else think?
AJ Styles.
But then who would take over from either man then?
I mean, there's plenty of other people that could step up. Miz.
Well, if you have them plus Dolph Ziggler taking time off, that's 3 guys, right?
Miz.
So you've basically taken off 3 of the main eventers. Well, 2 of the main eventers and 1 upper mid-carder from that. The Miz is a heel, so you'd have to turn AJ face, which is what they don't want to do at the moment because he's the main heel of the company. Randy Orton is the only other person.
There you go, Orton.
Yeah, but I don't think Orton's not going to win that fucking title.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to putting them in a. I think AJ's going to hold that title for
Right. So they need someone
through
with
WrestleMania.
the title too who can go against AJ Styles. Bam, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. I mean, I know we're going to get that phenomenal forearm into an RKO spot with that.
Wouldn't you want to basically do it so that AJ Styles would be facing, kind of like the way that John Bradshaw Layfield did it, where you'd have all these guys in the cusp of the main event going after the title, because it means more, especially if he's taking away so many different people. I wouldn't, for now, I think they need to bring up their main event roster a little bit more in before because it's already thin as it is on SmackDown, and you
Yes,
don't.
I
wanna
will
get
agree
these
with you there.
guys. Yeah, so I don't agree with the fact that these guys are taking time off, but I do agree with the idea that maybe, just maybe, AJ Styles actually comes out with the big W, because I do believe that AJ will probably hold that title for a while, just because, you know, he's AJ motherfucking Styles, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
I don't think, because I don't think he drops that title till, I'd say maybe WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'd say he holds that title for a very, very long time.
me too.
Yep. AJ Styles will still be the face that runs.
That is what's happening. I'm sending you that it's Mellon, Collie, and the Infinite Championship Wrestling. 2 words. And Collie like the dog. Mellon like Carnegie Mellon.
Okay, yeah. I'll fix it. I just mean so I fucking.
I'm sending it to you right now. Infinite
Okay.
Championship
That way I
Wrestling.
remember it.
Championship Wrestling. All right. Well, that has been our No Mercy preview. We seem to be doing one of these every 2 weeks, which
Pretty much.
is still a good thing for wrestling. I don't know how much longer it can be sustained as a good thing, and at what time. Like, they have to continuously keep hitting these shows out of the park before, like, you know, the fan base really starts to turn on these. All it takes is one completely dud of a show, or 2 back-to-back duds of a show, for people to turn on this idea, and there'll be people clamoring for individual same pay-per-views, less pay-per-views, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to probably do is, I think it's going to be a far better pay-per-view than Clash of Champions. I felt Clash of Champions was just...
First 2 hours of Clash, we said on this show, the first 2 hours of Clash of Champions was woefully boring.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the women's title match, Rusev and Reigns, and then the main event that saved it.
I think it's also because of the fact that it was just poorly booked. I think on the Raw side, it's not as strong as the SmackDown side at the moment. But with the thin roster, it gives them a chance to highlight better talents than as Raw is just more like, look at what we got here, all this shit. And Stephanie McMahon just dressing people down for some reason.
Just always cutting their balls off, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, everyone's balls are in Stephanie's purse. But yeah, No Mercy, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. And, you know, hopefully I'll be on the next show that we can review it.
You basically probably will be, as well as you will be on our 100th anniversary episode. That will be, like, super duper classy as fuck. With multiple interviews from pretty much everybody who's ever been on the show before. I'm going to try and get everybody to do something for it. And it'll be like a multi-part kind of gimmick. So I don't have an Iron Sheik tweet of the week because it's kind of a short week.
Yeah, because we recorded originally on Saturday.
We recorded, Saturday.
Thank you, Dixie Carter.
And thanks, Dixie. And now we're having to record again on a Wednesday because I'm going to New York Comic-Con tomorrow, and we will be away. So no Iron Sheik tweet of the week this week, no Intelligent Jew update, but I will have one special ready to go.
Oh, let me just basically do a Hulk Hogan, you know, fuck you, Hulk Hogan. You are jabroni. There you go. There's no Iron Sheik tweet.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could look for it, but I'm literally full size of Iron Sheik tweet of the weeks.
Dixie Carter is a jabroni. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's something Dixie Carter is a jabroni. Like, the sample size of Iron Sheik tweet of the weeks is really not proper to do a full...
Fuck the TNA. I will break your back and make you humble.
Honky Tonk Man was savage.
Yeah.
When this is going down. It
All
was
right.
hilarious.
Yeah, the TNA rings for sale was great. So, plugs, anybody?
Yeah, I'm going to be starting
Leslie,
up my wrestling promotion. It's called Fuck TNA. And
it's called Schminpack Wrestling.
Yes,
Schminpack Wrestling.
I'm going to basically pay talents like a year later and fuck the company up so badly that people are just going to wonder who the fuck I am. And also, I'm changing my name. I'm going to be like Michael Dixie Carter.
You're going to be Michael Carter?
Michael Carter. And I'm just going to be
Michael Carter.
Y'all, I'll do like all these Jarl promos and wear glittery dresses for some reason, and then say that Magnus is the future of the industry.
All right, that was your plug spot. Nick, on to you.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube at the Game Pegasus27, Twitter, Gaming Pegasus27, Facebook, Nick Horaceck, Wrestling Slammy Revolutions, the Facebook group. We're on iTunes, iTunes. Yes, all that good shit. I'm all over the place. Xbox Live, Wii U, Instagram, Pegasus187. PSN, the Extreme Enigma. 2K17 comes out next week. I can't wait. I got my NXT edition coming in the mail. So, yeah.
I'm hoping GameStop doesn't sell out of that, or that's an online exclusive, the NXT edition.
I think it was an online exclusive. I don't know if you can... I went and just online, so I won't charge till it ships.
Ugh. All right. Well, I'll have to figure that out, because I don't want that. I am Brandon Liggan. You could follow me on Twitter at @BrandonAllHope. You could follow my production company, False Finish Productions, on Facebook, Twitter, False Finish Pro. We're on SoundCloud, Nerd Sci, all my other podcasts. Go support independent wrestling, especially in New York while you still can, while people are still allowed to rent other people's license to run shows before it makes it possible than anybody other than Vince McMahon and Carrie Silken to run in WWE, run in the state of New York.
Billy Corgan's going to probably need to go somewhere and borrow some licenses.
Billy Corgan's going to have to go to Jersey because I don't know if they can afford to be throwing out money on ambulances and shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know if ROH has money to throw out money on ambulances, but that's...
Well, RH does. RH, with their partnership in Japan, I think they've got enough money to throw around because apparently the company's making profit now.
So we'll go support independent wrestling in your local town or community. I guarantee you, no matter where you live on Earth, if there's people, reasonable enough people, like population-wise, there are people with wrestling rings somewhere. Just law of large numbers, man.
And just don't dress up like insane clown posse members right now, people. Because
don't do the clown thing. Just please.
Yeah.
Please, 100 clowns right now. So it's Clown Lives Matter, people. Okay.
It's all. Watch again. I'm going with it's all viral marketing for the It remake.
Clown Lives Matter. Okay. Clown Lives Matter.
No, they don't. Fuck clowns. All right. I want to.
You're just hoping.
Wait, while I have this, before we go out. Speaking of clowns, on one last parting note, and I will say this personally because I am a man of my word and I can admit when I'm fully wrong. I was wrong about Frank the Clown. I was wrong. The guy actually could cut a promo. And if I was a pro wrestling promoter or a booker, I would book Frank the Clown to be my new heel manager. Book Frank the Clown as your heel manager. Instant heat forever, whoever you put him with.
He's banging Noelle Foley.
I can't believe I didn't think of this until before I see it. Like, that's how fucking genius it is. Go watch every
Reddit male on the planet hates him.
I'm glad you've finally seen the light.
Yeah, I've seen the light, and if I ever have the chance again to meet Frank the Clown, I will actually shake his hand. I say, I'm sorry. I will say I'm sorry, but Frank, if you're listening,
you've seen the light.
I'm sorry. I was kind of a dick to you and Brock Lesnar guy when I met you and Noelle Foley, and I didn't want to take a picture with you.
Well, if he ever meets Noelle again, he'll be like, Brandon, my name's Brandon.
Anyway, so for Leslie Joy, for Broken Michael Burr, and for Nick Horaceck, I am Brandon Liggan saying go forth and spread beauty and light.
No, remember, it's Michael Dixie Carter. Y'all.
Whatever. Let's go. Play my damn theme song.